right, my friend. How you doing? All right, so let's talk a little bit here, man. Let's talk a little bit about I want to talk about some of these rotational movements here. I got a few tools out here, but this stuff is super simple, man. Stuff is super simple, but it's profound. The implications of it are profound, right? So you see this guy's up here, he's got a rope, he's swinging. What is he going to do? Show me a trick, right? No, I'm not. I'm not going to show you a trick. It's not about tricks. This is not about doing, oh, yeah, it is. It is cool. It is cool and it does look cool. Like you can do stuff that looks, pretty cool and pretty fancy. But, once you establish it with just a little bit of a practice, you can do it too. And you'll find it's not just flashy. It's not just a trick. So why the rotational movements? Why this rope? Why these clubs? And why this little piece of wood here, right? Well, it's the joints. It's about rotating the joints. And so let's just talk about the shoulder for a second, and then we're going to move in and we're going to get a little bit deeper here. But look, man, the shoulder joint is such a complex joint. This thing's got all of this range of motion. It's one of the most complex joints, and thing is, it's really close to the center of the body, right? And so these joints produce a lot of fluid motion, right? When we use them, so a lot of fluid gets moved around in those joints and around those joints. And so you're asking of the tissues, you're asking of the nervous system to bring lymphatic flow through that area. You're asking to bring blood flow through that area, to and through that area. You're asking for synovial fluid through and in. You're asking for nervous impulse and nervous system. And it's not just the central nervous system into the peripheral nervous system, right? That's like, remember in the textbooks we see the man who just has those lines that are yellow on them, like those little, they look like roots or little like, electrical things coming out like that. Yeah, that's just one gross view of the main parts of it. And then once you zoom in, it's like zooming in on the little tiny pieces of roots on the trees that keep going and going, and then into the mycelial net. It keeps going and going and going. That's the fascial system inside the body. So you're asking the body, you're asking that whole area to open up and to breathe and to move. Yeah, oxygen exchange as well, right? So look, I mean, if you're one of these guys, if you're somebody who works a manual labor job, you might think there's an idea floating around, right? Like, oh, well, I'm a carpenter, or I'm a plumber, or I do this, or I do that, or whatever. Well, I don't have to do this other stuff. I'm not saying you do, I'm not saying that you do. But what I am saying is that it may be worth your time to look into it a little bit, I'm not here to train anybody. I'm not an expert or anything of the sorts. But I am here just to perhaps shed a little bit of light into the situation, right? This stuff, once we get it moving and once we get it flowing, the more we get it flowing, the better it is, the better it feels internally. And my friends, the external mirrors the internal. Crazy thing. So what we want to do is we want to get the internal system as fluid and healthy as we possibly can. And a lot of it is about the nervous system. A lot of it is about the tissue and about getting the oxygen exchange and the blood flow through the tissue internally. So if you do one of these jobs, it's very likely that you're in a prolonged position for an extended period of time, depending on what it is, depending on your situation. Everybody's a little bit different, no doubt about it. But if you do most of these they're specialty jobs in general, right? The trades are somewhat special, and this goes for everybody too. You may work at a desk over a computer. A lot of you guys do that. So that is this. Everybody knows about that. So that's why I'm spending a little bit more. I'm focusing a little bit more on those of you who do the manual labor trade, blue collar, you're a plumber, you're a carpenter, whatever. You may be in a position, you tend to work certain positions more than other, and generally I don't think it looks like this, right? I don't think you're getting the full range of motion. I could be wrong. So for the most part, it really helps to get these rotational movements in, and they're basically void in our culture. So you may not be able to do what I'm going to show you here in a second. And that's why we have this. And so for me as well, my shoulders being in pretty good health, I still start off with this. So getting the motion down, there's several different things you can do, but just if you can do that, you can't do that. Some of you, well, maybe you can't do that. You start here, rotate here. Maybe you can just go here and you just rotate. That's okay. A little bit over a long period of time will add up, So 5 minutes a day, every day for 30 days, that tends to add up, and then you can go up, and then you can get something like this, and it feels great. But again, we work on these rotational movements, and we do one side, and the amount of blood flow, the amount of tissue, the type of neuronal brain stimulation, right? Dude, we're generating an extremely healthy and robust system, right? I really hesitate to go into all of the the degenerative situations that we're looking at, right? It's like whatever system you want to look at, whether it's the nervous system and you have the Alzheimer's and dementia and things like this. So you can try to solve that problem if you want to, and that's fine. But what I'm looking at here and what I'm showing and demonstrating are ways to generate and to develop a robust nervous system, because the nervous system, the brain thrives on movement, and in particularly the movement of the spine, right? So in all of these, you can stabilize your spine and go here, or you can open up and start to rotate your spine as well as your shoulders. It's all intimately connected. Your shoulders and your spine, especially the thoracic part of your spine, this part of your spine here, is connected intimately to the shoulders. So when you start to lose mobility in the thoracic spine, your shoulders start to go as well. Okay, then you can go up to this and we start getting deeper. This is a little bit heavier, right? So that first one is whatever it is, it's light. And then the second one, second one's 2 pounds, a little over 2 pounds. This one's about 4.5. And we're doing both sides. We do both sides of everything. And that is the point that I want to bring up, okay? So we're talking about the nervous system. We're talking about the stimulation of the joints, these major joints, are stimulating the flow in that area, and it's close to our heart, man. The shoulders are close to the heart, so we're stimulating this flow. See, you can do exercise for any number of reasons. Anyone can. I'm just offering another viewpoint and another reason why, well, maybe we do want to do these things if it's not for, trying to, look better with your shirt off, which is cool and fine. That's great. Well, if it's not, whatever the reasons are, you're trying to lose weight, trying to do all those things, or all those things are really good. Here's another reason. So do both sides of it. And then we get into something like the rope. It's not a trick, this is a movement of the spine that you are not getting in your daily activities. And if you are, rock and roll, man. But most people are not getting these type of movements of the spine in their daily activity. And what does that do? What does that do for the spine? What does that do for the synovial fluid that's moving up the central canal of the body and bathing the brain, CSF? What is that doing? What is it doing with the lymphatic fluid throughout the system, from your feet all the way into our hands, up through our arms, up into our head, through our neck, right? What is the flow of the lymphatic system? The lymphatic system is all about moving the waste out of there, getting rid of everything that doesn't need to be there. So what happens when you move your spine like this? And I show these things with the rope, with the clubs and stuff like that, because it's a tool that anybody can use. It may take you a little bit to learn how to do different things, It may take you a little while. That's okay. Anybody can pick up a rope and do this. Anybody can. My neighbor, I showed him the rope about 6 months ago. He's been doing it almost every day. He said, "Man, I can lift his arm." He said, "Man, I could lift all the way. I could reach things up here on my shelf. I couldn't even put my arm up without being in pain a couple months ago, So simple patterns. This is an overhand pattern. Boom, boom, boom. Simple pattern. This is an overhand pattern. And what is perhaps the most important thing about all of this is the balance part of it. It's the balance part of it. Why? Because it's not just about balancing on one foot and touching your nose and closing your eyes and being able to walk a straight line. It's not just about that. It's also about the balance of the nervous system. It's about the internal. It's about the balancing of the brain, about the left and right hemispheres of the brain. And that's the left and right sides of the body and corresponding. And so as we get better at doing this, we get better at the crossover between the left and the right hemisphere, which is so very integral to the way that we see and the way that we experience the world, man. We're in a place right now where the people here in America, in the United States of America, are divided and are becoming more and more divided. And we're seeing so many things externally through the media and elsewhere that are very, very divisive, right? Okay, so here it is. It's my responsibility to bring balance to my system, to my internal nervous system, so that I can then experience the world with a clear vision without being folded, fallen, distorted, stuck on one side or the other. This is not about us versus them. It's not about this and that, this. It's both sides, both sides, both sides. Boom. Creates a new vision, okay? So, and it happens first internally. It happens first internally. So, this is simple stuff. Simple movement. It does take practice. It does take consistency. But we're moving side to side. One foot. Wah, 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 wah. And you get better. And you get the 4 foundations. You get the sneak. You get the underhand sneak. You get the matador. You get the dragon roll, you get those, and that's all great, and it's not a trick, man. It's just movement. That's all it is. It's just a way to get you to move your spine. It's just a way to get you to dance a little bit, just kind of move that spine around just a little bit so the energy can start to spiral like it likes to do. The energy likes to spiral. It likes to roil around, and it gets really strong and powerful. And that's what we're doing. We're developing really strong and powerful internal systems, and then that is naturally, you don't have to do anything, it projects out into the world.